us in the Abu Dhabi chapter program just a few months back, and she was a great hit, I should say, among us women especially. Extensively into social service, CSR, empowering women and children, implementing experiences for the betterment of society, and creating awareness on society pertinent issues through various media channels as panelist, columnist, YouTube, podcasting, and through public speaking assignments. And Captain Shweta has also authored a book, Galvanize Public Opinion in the Country for Permanent Commission of Women in Indian Army, and ultimately achieve the same for the women officers. It's our pride to have you here in this August Assembly of IPF. Captain Shweta, please inspire us with your words. Please unmute yourself.
Very Honorable Sumitra Mahajan, ma'am, my very dear members of Indian People's Forum, a very good evening to you all and wishing you all a very happy Women's Day. At the very outset, I will compliment the organizers for having conceptualized this event and now conducting it so smoothly. My heartfelt thanks for having me as a guest speaker in this webinar. Honorable Sumitra Mahajan, ma'am, organizers are not aware that my parents, both my mother and my father, have had a close association with you during your Indore years, during the years from 2001 to around 2010 or so. Ma'am, my mother was principal of Music College Indore when you were a member of parliament there. Through Jan Bhagidari, President Sushri Vinita Dharamji, my mother interacted with you for several projects. You have worked for the improvement of a government music college there. Several projects have been implemented there, and then my mother interacted with you for the promulgation and promotion of Indian classical music along with you. Ma'am, in those years, my mother tells me that you had the vision to nurture and develop Indian classic music, particularly by making music college facilities more girl-child friendly. The trio of these ladies, Sumitra Mahajan ma'am, Dharamji ma'am, Vinita Dharamji ma'am, and my mother, Dr. Rama Avasthi, these trio, they built up the infrastructure of college beautifully to make it more girl-child friendly. Drinking water facilities, toilets, inverter for electricity backups in evenings, construction of extra spacious new classrooms, they did it all. The results of these efforts were evident immediately, with many, many more students enrolling to learn our culture, tradition, classical music. That thinking globally, acting locally, ma'am, that to me defines the role of women in building modern India. That synergy of women, that support system of women to women, that sisterhood, that should be the role of women in modern India. My father, Justice A.K. Avasthi, the High Court judge in Indore bench, was also a great proponent of financial empowerment and higher education for women. It is the inspiration from these parents and proximity to leaders like you that I could clear my exams of Indian Air Force and Indian Army. First steps are toughest to take. When I joined Army, we made initial most batches of women in armed forces. We were called Women Special Entry Schemes in Army. All experiments were done on us. Trials of policies, procedures, feasibility studies, researches as to how much can women take in as Army officers, our physical standards, stamina, type of uniforms, hairstyles, barracks where we lived in, postings, field tenure possibilities, all experiments were done on us. Yes, we blaze the trail for younger girls to be Army officers now. I speak of my role as an army officer not to boast of it, but for the new generation to know that although tough, these professions can also be embraced by women now in modern India. I proudly share that I have extended my services during Kargil War and earned appreciation from seniors. This when my daughter was just 9 months old. I also hold the Operation Parakram Medal for Excellence in Services in Army during the said operation in 2002. I have shared this in India People's Forum earlier. The moments when I was discharging my duties in extreme deserts along the Indo-Pak border, when the phone call came saying, Captain Shweta, your husband, Major Gaurav Mishra, while killing 3 terrorists in Kashmir Valley, is hit by 4 bullets in his chest. All this while our 2-year-old daughter was being looked after by our parents back home in Madhya Pradesh. Well, as they say, tough times never last. Tough people do. Yes, tough times never last. Tough people do. People of Indian Defense Forces are tough people. We are tough people. Clearly, we have lasted. Today, I sit as chairperson of a family welfare organization of an army formation. This organization looks after the welfare issues of Indian soldiers' families, that is their wives and their children. I want to bring to light the contribution of army wives today, their role in safety, security, and hence the development of our country. I call army wives the silent warriors, because it is these women who look after the household, clean, cook, wash, take care of children, educate, look after them as almost single parents. It is because of these women who are silently serving. They are extending an assurance that we are there. And it is because of these women, soldiers are out there, ready to lay their lives without having to worry about their home fronts. Does this sound similar to all the women listening? Yes, these roles are gender specific. These roles are being looked after by women. All women across the world look after the home front, the household chores. Therefore, this International Women's Day, let us speak about the unpaid domestic work and childcare responsibilities mostly taken up by women. Without getting their dues, silently, they're doing these jobs. I'm not limiting my voice for homemakers or housewives only. Women's inclusion into workforce is considered a sign of empowerment, but it leaves them doubly burdened. They have to handle these jobs in addition to also the unpaid domestic. They have to handle their jobs in addition to their the unpaid domestic work and childcare which they have to do. A research study says Indian women do 10 times more unpaid domestic work and childcare as compared to Indian men. This Women's Day, let us choose to challenge situations so that household work is distributed judiciously between genders. Let us begin from our homes. This Women's Day, let us choose to challenge situations which corroborate the problematic idea that homemakers don't contribute to economic value of households. They do. Research has shown that economic value of unpaid domestic work and childcare is whopping 40% of India's current GDP. It is the homemaker's labor that keeps family unit running and allows work outside the house possible. They make the foundations on which economic activities of a society are feasible. Let us choose to challenge the flawed GDP systems that do not recognize household work, the chores, as economic activity, which is mostly taken up by us women. Redefining the methods of measurements of economic activities and including unpaid domestic work and childcare as legitimate work will properly put in perspective the role of women in modern India and also in modern world. That is my opinion. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, thank you so much. We were actually thrilled to hear your bond with Sumitra Tai. Pranam to the trio, as you said, including Sumitra Tai and your beloved mother. Now it makes us even more happy to see that we have brought you both on this platform, on the IPF platform. Thank you so much. We now move on to